Hey everybody, it's Rebecca Johnson of Supergirl Radio. I'm just going to go ahead and get the live stream started. I'm hanging out with my friend Lulu in my background. Look at her face. She's adorable. She's an adorable little villainous guinea pig. So we will be talking about the movie that Lulu is in for this week's episode of Supergirl Radio. We're going to be talking about DC League of Super Pets. So if you are interested in that, feel free to hang out with us and chat about the movie. I've seen it twice now. I like to take notes, give something a second view because I usually miss something I didn't see the first time. So there are a couple things that I caught on the rewatch. Definitely missed a post-credit sequence there in the first viewing. I caught the mid-credit sequence, but the post-credit sequence I did not see the first time around. So I got to watch it the second time. And so we'll be chatting about the movie, but we'll also be talking about some DC TV and film news that has come out this week. So we're going to be talking about The Flash, and we're going to be talking about Batgirl, because those characters and those universes, both the TV and the film side, both touch Supergirl in their own ways. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So if you have any questions or comments about those things, feel free to chat it up in the live chat as we go along in the news section. And we're also going to be doing a little Supergirl Radio rewind in the news section, because we talked about something in our episode on the DC Super Pets Character Encyclopedia. It's a very long title, so I wanted to make sure I got it all correctly. We talked about something in that episode that I was like, I don't know, I think I have a memory of this, but I don't for sure remember. And then after it was over, I looked at my Google Docs and I was like, oh yeah, now I remember. So we're going to talk about what that is and share a clip from 3 years ago on Supergirl Radio, because Morgan and I both forgot about this certain thing. So we're going to be we're going to do a little time travel in this week's Supergirl Radio. So that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully it won't be too disorienting for people as we flash back in time in the news section. So Morgan, I see you there. Are you ready to go?
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
I was looking to see if I could find the cape that you sent me, the Superman cape to put on Bunsen, and I cannot find it anywhere.
No super pet. Well, you have a super pet, just not a super cape.
It's true. He's behind me, so
yeah, there he is.
There he goes.
Okay. So
he won't be exploited for this podcast.
Well, I requested that he be exploited, but things happen. I did bring some of my super pets with me. I have a little Krypto, trying to get him to he's got a little S. You can't see it because it's, I guess, green screened out. It looks like he has a hole in the back of his cape, and then a little Ace the Bat Hound.
Aww.
For some reason, I can't remember why, but I have a little, I didn't bring her with me, but I have like a Wonder Woman in this set for some reason. Like, it's a Wonder Woman that looks like this. I'm like, why did Wonder Woman? I can't remember why Wonder Woman came in that set. I don't really understand how that happened. Anyway, I guess that was this toy version of the DC Trinity. You had a Superman family person, or a dog, and a Batman family, and then Wonder Woman. It's strange. Anyway, well, are you ready to go? Are you ready to talk about Super Pets?
Yeah.
And lots of controversial probably things in the news section.
Oh.
Yeah. So we'll be doing a little bit of that. So we are going to get officially started here, and we'll be right back.
Leslie Lar's downfall is just that eyebrow twitch that she can't help doing. Could you imagine if Hope was like, let's add that to the PowerPoint? Excuse
what
me?
Year is it?
How old am I? how a podcast breaks up.
This is the last episode of Supergirl Radio. You want a Kryptonian? You've got one.
Is it a movie about saving Argo? The answer to that one is no. It's called Witch for a Summer! Exclamation point. Where does she want to go? Ask her. Talk to her. Really commune with flat Supergirl.
Did we set the bar too high or too low?
I think we set the bar real medium.
You're doing an intensely adequate podcast.
Good, good.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Noyce, and you're listening to Supergirl Radio.
McGurk! I love
Not
typing.
mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira. I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom, because her outfit.
She looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Welcome to Supergirl Radio, your source for all things related to the CW Supergirl TV series and the character of Kara Zor-El. My name is Rebecca Johnson.
I'm Morgan Glennon.
And for a second, I thought Morgan Glennon wasn't going to join us.
I was looking for a cat-sized cape for my cat, trying desperately to remember where I put it. I was unsuccessful at remembering where I put it, but I did look as many places as I could during the opening.
Well, that is okay. But that segues nicely into what we're going to talk about for this episode of Supergirl Radio. We are live and wired on the Supergirl Radio Facebook page and the DC TV Podcast YouTube channel to discuss and review the animated feature film. Animated feature film. I feel like that's the proper way to say that. DC League of Super Pets. So this is the first time that the Super Pets from DC Comics have been on the big screen. Their big screen debut for these characters, which I think is a long time coming. They've been around for a very, very long time. So it's good to see that they get the big screen, silver screen treatment. So we're going to be talking about that. But we also have a lot of other things to talk to before we even get to the movie review. So let's get to
the news.
After a lot of speculation, the CW has now confirmed that The Flash Season 9, with a 13-episode order, is going to be the show's final one. It wasn't stated when the final season will officially premiere in 2023. Production slated to commence in September will reportedly last until March 2023. So showrunner Eric Wallace spoke about The Flash's ending in the following statement. 9 seasons, 9 years of saving Central City while taking audiences on an emotional journey full of heart, humor, and spectacle. And now Barry Allen has reached the starting gate for his last race. So many amazing people have given their talents, time, and love to bring this wonderful show to life each week. So as we get ready to honor the show's incredible legacy with our exciting final chapter, I want to say thank you to our phenomenal cast, writers, producers, and crew over the years who helped make The Flash such an incredible experience for audiences around the world.
So, Morgan, what do you think about this news?
I mean, I'm not surprised. The Flash is obviously it's going into season 9. That's a lot of seasons.
It's a lot of TV.
Almost a decade of The Flash. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago either, which is like made me start to realize like how time has become so relative to me now. It's like, oh my God, 9 years?
I'm so old now.
No. I was like, oh boy. But yeah, I'm not surprised. It does feel like everything. I feel like the CW is just like quietly putting everything out to pasture. They canceled a bunch of the Arrowverse. I think with the Flash ending, that actually officially ends the Arrowverse in some ways, because all the shows that were like technically part of the Arrowverse are now done.
Right, because Superman and Lois,
They're
not
their own
technically.
thing. Don't you worry about that. They're not in that Arrowverse. But now I do have some sympathy now, where like if you're on Superman and Lois and you just see all of your comrades just going down left and right, maybe you're like, I'm not part of this. Keep me. I'm not part of this. I'll know who they are. This is the first
I've never
day
seen those people before in my
Never
life.
seen them before in my life. So I kind of understand why they were like, let's just distance ourselves, shall we, from the Arrowverse. But I think, this might be the like official end of the Arrowverse with the Flash ending. But that's like not even the only thing that's ending next season. I think Riverdale, whatever is happening on that show, whatever fever dream that show is, I think that is also ending next season. So it does kind of feel like the CW is just like slowly putting out to pasture all of their shows and just clearing for whatever the CW is going to be next.
Yeah, Andy says in the chat, Stargirl and Superman Lois are at the very least Arrow adjacent. That's a good way to put that. And Andy says, I expect both to be over in the next 2 years. My only concern with Stargirl is that we get that Mr. Bones season.
We better get Mr. Bones. It's coming up. You can't cancel it before we see Mr. Bones. Still close.
So close.
How dare they? Don't even think. Don't you even think about it.
Wouldn't that just be the worst thing for us? I think
it would feel correct, though. It'd feel like like Mr. Bones begins to step out of the shadows, and then like one of those big like warning signs, like those tests come up on the screen, and then that's it. The show's canceled. The show is canceled like mid-episode. As soon as like Director Bones is about to show up, they're like, "I'm sorry, we just got it from the CW network that this is canceled."
I would be so mad. So hopefully we'll at least get a season of Stargirl that has Mr. Bones in it. We waited so long for Mr. Bones, and now we get a chance to have him. So hopefully, Stargirl is a little bit Arrow adjacent. John Wesley Shipp's Flash has been on Stargirl, and he was also on The Flash. So I think that counts. So we'll see what happens with all of this. I mean, it was time for The Flash, really. And I didn't mean that as a pun in any way, but it was time for The Flash because he has grown older as a TV show. It's quite a long run for a DC Comics TV show, so it was probably time anyway. But it does make me concerned for Superman and Lois, especially. I don't know it's a fairly big hit in terms of like fan reaction, so I don't know that they would cancel it for that. But Legends of Tomorrow was very popular.
I was about to say, I feel like whether or not fans like it is not a determination of whether or not they're canceling things. Like the Legends like fans have put up like billboards in Times Square and stuff, and I just I remember reading some article where they were like, well, we didn't want to have to renew the lease on the studio, which is apparently one of the reasons why Legends got canceled. So like I feel like fan sentiment is like a small portion of like what they're thinking about at this point.
Yeah, so things are happening, and this is, I think, a broader Warner Brothers Discovery situation. So, Morgan, do you want to get us into the next bit of news, which is, I think, connected in some way?
I would love to. So some Batgirl news. Deadline has confirmed that even though Batgirl is in the final stages of post-production, Warner Brothers and DC Films will not be releasing the movie on any platform, including theatrically. This falls in line with the mandate put down by the new WB regime to cut back on the feature films premiering on the streamer and deciding which films will be released theatrically and which will be shelved. And sources close to the project say word came down this week that Batgirl did not make the cut. Warner Brothers had no comment. The film would have starred Leslie Grace in the titular role, Brendan Fraser, and Michael Keaton reprising his Bruce Wayne part, and was expected to bow sometime in 2023. As for the exact reason behind the shelving, sources say the film did not fall in line with the new strategy being implemented by DC Films as well as HBO Max. The studio is looking to make theatrical tent poles with budgets at $90 million plus, and from early footage seen, this did not fall into place with that model. Batgirl was greenlit at $70 million budget, which seems pretty close. The decision follows several recent changes across the company, including major changes at HBO Max, with more expected with the upcoming earnings call later this week. The New York Post first reported the Batgirl news.
My favorite part of this article is Warner Brothers didn't have a comment. Warner Brothers had no comment. That's really funny to me because weeks ago? I feel like it happened just yesterday, but there was a big Rolling Stone hit piece that came out of nowhere about Zack Snyder, where Warner Brothers literally compared him to Lex Luthor in the article for some stupid reason. And Warner Brothers really wanted to talk then. They had all kinds of comments in that article, and now they don't want to say anything. They don't want to comment about anything. I just find that as somebody who's very frustrated with them, I find that particularly of note that Warner Brothers had no comment. But this was very surprising to me when this happened today, because I was like, didn't they basically finish shooting the movie?
Well, it's also really surprising because it sounds like they more or less have kind of a movie, right? Like they have the most parts of the movie. If it's in post-production, they're probably like editing it now.
It's probably editing, special effects, that kind of thing. Music.
Why not just release it if all of the hardest parts are done? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, how much more expensive would it be to finish up post-production and drop it on a streamer? Like, I understand that it's not part of their strategy, but it's half done. Like, your strategy was like put in place after this. So maybe just like let this one be a mulligan for all the people who like spent time and effort and worked on this thing.
Do you want to hear a conspiracy theory?
Always.
Okay, because I live and breathe conspiracy theories, so I'm gonna share mine. So we have previously talked about how Warner Brothers Discovery is just cutting all the fat, just cutting all the stuff like on TBS, TNT, original scripted programming is not going on over there. They cut all the Arrowverse stuff. They're trying to get rid of everything that's not going to make them money. That's what it seems like to me. And so this is a very strange move for a company that's doing that, because basically now they're going to be losing money.
Yeah.
This company spent all this money. They shot this movie. They started working on the post-production of it. And for them to now say, we don't want that to be shown at all. They could make money back by putting it out into theaters, by releasing it on DVD and Blu-ray, by putting it on HBO Max as an HBO Max original. So to me, for a company that has proven that they want to be more about the revenue and not about the things that don't make them money, for them to do this makes me think it's not about the money.
It's very strange.
It's something else. My conspiracy theory is hashtag restore the Snyderverse. But my conspiracy theory is that there's something in the content of the film that they do not want out there. And so they're trashing this because it butts up against something else that they want to do.
Something else that they're planning
because
with DC properties.
Yes. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. But I think this is very similar, in my opinion. This is what happened with Justice League, with the Joss Whedon version of Justice League, is they cut all the stuff that they didn't want put out into the theater and threw something else up there. So I don't know. There's something weird about this. I don't know what it is, but something is something is amiss with whatever's happening with this bat, because it doesn't make any sense. So the only way it makes sense to me is if there's something within the actual story of the movie that either they can't fix with reshoots or they want to get rid of completely. Because they could have, hear me out, if it was something to do, like, for example, with Michael Keaton's Batman. They don't want to have Michael. I'm just throwing this out as like an example. He's supposed to be in the movie somehow. So if they said, well, we don't want Michael Keaton's Batman in there, we want Ben Affleck's Batman in there. Well, you could just reshoot it and have all the scenes with Ben Affleck instead, but they're not doing that. They're scrapping it totally. So to me, it says there's something, I don't know, there's something within it that they can't just reshoot. So they're scrapping it altogether. But I honestly, even if it didn't have anything with to do with Zack Snyder, the Snyderverse, I feel really bad for the cast and the people who worked on the film, because that is such an out of nowhere news that they're not going to be able to get their film seen. And also, I don't know if this would have anything to do with Supergirl in terms of the Batgirl film, but there was a lot of talk about Batgirl and Supergirl maybe teaming up, and so this may prevent that as well. So I don't know. This is a really strange move that has me putting on the tinfoil hat.
Yeah, it really feels very strange, because if you've already done arguably the most expensive parts, like the cast and the filming, and probably some practical effects, right? The post-production is probably not the most expensive. Like, does it make more sense to just throw it away halfway through than to just finish it and put it up on your streaming service? Like, my conspiracy theory is, a part of me wonders if they're like, oh, I don't know, like, it doesn't fit into our like theatrical lineup, or like this new mandate that's coming down, but like, we got to do something with it. What if like we like scrap it, and then people will be like, I want to see it, and then we'll be like, sure, we'll put it on HBO Max, and then it feels like something exclusive that we've given to them, and not like a thing that we were gonna do like the whole time. Like, honestly, if this is a marketing gimmick, it's kind of brilliant. If this isn't a marketing gimmick, it's very stupid.
That would make it feel fresh, like, oh, we're being gifted something. Yeah, no, I think that's a good conspiracy theory to make it just seem like something different other than just throwing it on HBO Max. CM Gutier 74 says in the chat, or asks in the chat, maybe because Ezra Miller was in it. I mean, the man is having a breakdown. I don't know how much, if at all, he's in the Batgirl movie. I don't know if Andy's still in the chat.
By the way, we're never going to see Supergirl on screen, because she's in The Flash, and that movie, I don't think that
it's never coming out. We're never going to get to see the Flash movie. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening with that. Yeah, Ezra Miller, that story is wild. His situation is wild. I don't know what's going on with that. But I don't know if he's in the Batgirl movie. So
no, I mean, and I feel like if Ezra Miller was in the Batgirl movie, like, wouldn't it be probably more like a cameo? Wouldn't it be easy to kind of just remove him
or recast him? There's easy ways to do that.
Like, there's ways to get around that. It didn't seem like the Flash was going to be like an integral part of Batgirl from anything that I had heard like previous to this. So I do wonder. I do wonder if that's some story thing where they're like, oh no, now that we're Warner Brothers Discovery, we have to discover our own path to the DC material. And like, but the thing is that they're still putting out DC movies. Like, they're still doing Black Adam. It appears as if they're like still trying to figure out what they're going to do, but they're still releasing stuff in the interim. So it makes me wonder, like, why not just put it up?
Yeah, I think Shazam 2 and Black Adam were probably so far in the process that they probably couldn't just scrap that, that. So I don't know. I have a lot of conspiracy thoughts about this situation. I'm not getting my hopes up, because I know better when it comes to DC properties to get my hopes up. That's just not something that I do anymore. But I don't know. This is very, very strange. I was actually kind of looking forward to the Batgirl movie, just to see what they would do with it.
Me too. Yeah, I like it when characters we haven't seen get their own movie essentially. Like, I've seen 100,000 Spider-Mans and Batmans, and I love Spider-Man, and I love Batman, and but I haven't seen a Batgirl movie. There's never been a Batgirl movie. What would that look like? We'll never know now, I guess. It's also so disrespectful to all the people who worked on that movie with the assumption that it was going to come out in some way. And then they're just like, nah, we don't want to. We got halfway through and we got tired. And so we're just going to stop. This poor girl, Leslie Grace.
Leslie Grace, yeah.
I mean, imagine how exciting it is to be cast as an iconic DC superhero and be like, I'm Batgirl, and telling everybody, guess who I am? I'm Batgirl. And then your movie never comes out. It's I'm my heart breaks for her, because it sounds like more corporate shenanigans, which, I can understand because it took down my show. And it seems like it's taking down a lot of shows right now, but I wouldn't have expected it to take down a movie. That's weird.
Now everybody knows how Zack Snyder felt when they booted him off Justice League.
Through.
Yeah. So it stinks. I will say though, if they did want to restore the Snyderverse and make the Ben Affleck movie, Batgirl was supposed to be in that. She was actually supposed to help Batman fight Deathstroke, which would have been awesome. So I don't know if that would ever come to pass, but yeah, I hate it for the actors who are in it. J.K. Simmons was going to be back as Commissioner Gordon, which would have been awesome. So it's just a baffling thing. So the fact that this happened out of the blue, and it doesn't make any sense, and Warner Brothers had no comment about it. I have a lot of thoughts in my head that I don't want to speak out into the universe right now.
It's just very strange, I think.
It all seems very conspiratorial on my part. So I'm just putting that there.
Yeah, I have to say, a couple months into this, I'm not a fan of the Warner Brothers Discovery merger. I'm just going to go out on the record. It has not been doing anything that exciting. Some channels have are just canceling every anything original on there. I think it was TBS or TNT. They just got rid of all the shows. CW got rid of most of the shows. It just seems like they came in, they're just clear house, which is it's not great if you like any of those things.
Yeah, I can understand as a fan why that is disheartening, but as someone who has been very upset with this company for a very long time, for them to come in and clear the house, it's all right, now we're going somewhere. Now things are happening. And I actually admire that. This doesn't matter to anybody, but just as someone who in her dreams wishes she could be an executive of either a movie studio or a television network, I admire the gumption. I admire that the attitude of we're not here to make things that don't make any money. We're here to make money. This is a business. We're here to make money. I admire that. Good for them.
Well, I think it remains to be seen how much money they end up making. All of their choices seem a little bit sketch now. It's we bought this because we really love everything that you guys are doing. They're really great. No, actually, I hate it, and I'm going to shut it all down.
Well, they'll probably make more money than zero, which is honestly what the CW was putting out there. Articles came out about that there was no revenue that came out of the CW.
Well,
they never
CW
made any
was
money.
Making money, but not through traditional means. It was making money through all of their distribution deals, which is what ended up killing the shows at the end, is that they were only making money through their Netflix and all of those streamer distribution deals. But then when it came time to shop it around, they couldn't. They were under those distribution deals. So it's kind of in the boom times, it was great for them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it, because as a fan of these things, you want to see them continue on and to thrive. But as somebody who's I think maybe something needs to change with this company. It's like, all right, now things are happening. So I don't know. I'm mixed on it. So it's all very, very strange. I don't know what's happening.
It's just a really weird thing to like halfway through a movie, arguably most of the way through the movie, if they're in post-production, to just be like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm sure more is going to come out about this because I saw like it was like trending today. It was trending news. So I don't imagine that that's just going to disappear and nobody's going to like look into it. I feel like there's going to be like a good juicy article in our future.
Oh man, the documentary that's going to come out later.
Oh my god, it's going to be amazing.
So
I hope it's multiple parts.
I'm not that this matters, but I'm watching Light and Magic on Disney Plus.
Ooh,
it's
I
about
have not watched that.
Oh, you should watch it. It's about industrial light magic and how they got started and all of the ways that they used to do those early effects. And I'm eating it up. So
that sounds amazing.
It's so good. So if there is a documentary that would come out about all of this era of DC film and television, I would be interested in the dirt that comes out with that. So, so maybe in the future, and I'm sure at some point we'll eventually get to see the Batgirl movie. It will come out eventually in some form.
I mean they have it. They have most of it.
Yes. So Warner Brothers will probably put it out at some point just to earn a little money, but it's not happening right now for some reason. So there's something happening behind the scenes that we don't know about, which putting on the tinfoil hat explains the Rolling Stone Zack Snyder hit piece. In my opinion, that explains it. So anyway,
I'm excited for when it finally does come out and all the marketing is like the movie Warner Brothers didn't want you to see.
Yeah, that is going to be good. So that is the end of our main news section, but we do have something that I wanted to bring up because during our discussion of the DC Super Pets Encyclopedia, we came across the character of Ambush Bug, and I had mentioned in that episode that I thought that he might have come across Supergirl at some point. And Morgan, we both kind of forgot about this.
Oh, totally.
But after our discussion was over, I went to look it up in my Google Docs. And so for this episode of Supergirl Radio, I brought a clip with me since we both forgot about it. And to be fair to both of us, this was 3 years ago, which is a long time ago for us now. But this is a clip from a previous Supergirl Radio episode, which is technically episode number 241, which was our discussion of Supergirl number 24 from the good old Rebirth era, in which we did dive into the history of Ambush Bug to learn more about him. So I don't know if you remember this or not, but we did learn a lot about Ambush Bug. So I just thought we would put this back in here to refresh our memories of Ambush Bug and to fill in the listeners since we did forget. So enjoy this Supergirl Radio rewind into the history of Ambush Bug. I don't know a ton about Ambush Bug, but he is kind of a wacky character that will show up sometimes in other people's books. Like I think he's been in some Batman books, some Superman books. I'm trying to think if he's ever had any interactions with Supergirl. I think there may have been one.
That quest finds the Maid of Might kicking over rocks at a scuzzy intergalactic dive bar where she runs into Ambush Bug, of all people. Okay, let's talk about Ambush Bug.
I wish we would.
Yes. Because I'm disappointed for me personally because I knew of Ambush Bug and I knew he was a quirky character in DC Comics. And so when the description mentioned him, I got really excited. I was like, oh man, are we going to get a Supergirl Ambush Bug story? I was so pumped. Mm-hmm. And then you get into it and he shows up like in 1, 2, maybe 3 panels. I don't know. I didn't count him. Like he doesn't show up very much. He doesn't have that big of a role in this story. And I was so bummed. So what I thought was really funny, though, when I went to go research Ambush Bug, you might get the most kick out of this description from dc.fandom.com. So I'm gonna yes. read you what they wrote about the character of Ambush Bug. And,
I'm ready.
This is So good. Okay. So they say Ambush Bug is a well-meaning but incompetent adventurer who vaguely fights crime and probably suffers from mental illness. His powers include teleportation and dumb luck, as well as awareness of the fourth wall. Cheeks, the toy wonder, is his stuffed sidekick, and his arch nemesis is a sock named Argyle. Now, I'm going to spell this name to you. ARGH exclamation point capital YLE. So I think that's supposed to be like Argyle, but I'm not really sure. So the description goes on. It says he has been a member of the Doom Patrol, the Amber Butane Corps, the Uh-Oh Squad, and
Wait, what's the Uh-Oh Squad?
Okay. So let me pull up the Uh-Oh Squad. I thought you would enjoy that. When I clicked on the Uh-Oh Squad on the fandom wiki, it says article Uh-Oh Squad was not found.
Oh my god. They really missed a picture, like a perfect opportunity to be like, uh-oh.
Yes.
Article not found.
Oh, well, that's disappointing. We'll never know what the Uh-Oh Squad is.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
But in continuing, so he's a member of the Uh-Oh Squad and a temporary member of the Justice League. Formerly married to Dumb Bunny, this is a character.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry again. I'm sorry to keep interrupting. What?
Okay, so Dumb Bunny, she is a character who looks like a blonde chick with like a red bathing suit with long sleeves, and then like a belt and bunny ears. So if you want to picture that, Dumb Bunny is a member of the Interior Five with super strength who is as strong as an ox and almost as intelligent. Her parents are Princess Power of the Freedom Brigade and either Steve Tremor or Theo O'Day. So I guess there's some parental question there. She is highly incompetent and heavily relies on her teammates to fight crime. So that's her deal. She was She first appeared in 1966. So Ambush Bug, formerly married to Dumb Bunny, they couldn't work it out. I don't know what happened.
Shocking.
It did not work out for them. But it said, okay, let me finish the sentence though. It says, formerly married to Dumb Bunny, but he was drunk. So
what?
So I guess
wow,
Ambush Bug and Dumb Bunny must have gotten hitched while he was intoxicated, and I guess they got an annulment? I don't know the story. We're going to have to look this up because I don't know the full story about Ambush Bug and Dumb Bunny. But this is why I wish there was more Ambush Bug in this issue.
I mean, that was I feel like more interesting than a lot of stuff that happened in the issue.
So we actually covered a lot of Ambush Bug and completely forgot about it.
Forgot about his weird parental situation. Forgot about his marriage. Wow, there's a lot to unpack there with Ambush Bug.
So we forgot him, but forgot about him during the character encyclopedia episode. But he has been thoroughly investigated into his character history here on Supergirl Radio. So I just wanted to remind us about all of that because we did cover it at some point. All right. Well, I think we need to start talking about the thing that we gathered to discuss.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. Do we have another news item? Real quick?
Well, we came together to discuss the DC League of Super Pets animated feature film, which highlights some of our favorite super pets, including Krypto the super dog, who is the main super pet of the movie. So Morgan, what was your experience like? Because we're all starting to get back into going to the movies and that becoming a regular thing again. So I'm curious about how your movie going experience was.
It went great. So I knew we were doing this. Not we had to. We wanted to do this.
Yes,
but we're doing it so fast after the movie came out, and I was pretty concerned about being in a opening weekend theater with all the children. I was like, there's going to be so many children. The children are great. But like, sometimes they run around in movie theaters or scream. Sometimes it's a little distracting to the movie watching experience. And obviously I wanted to be taking my notes, which I did not do. So instead I decided to go see it on a Monday night. A Monday night was definitely the right time to go see the DC League of Super Pets. I got my giant popcorn that I did not manage to eat all of. And I think there were like maybe maybe 3 other groups of people in the theater with us. Like that was it. It was pretty empty. So I had a lovely viewing experience. There were some children, but they were like the quiet, well-behaved ones that were just like laughing at the jokes. And I was like, great kids. So it worked out well for me. I had like strategized around how to have the best viewing experience of the DC League of Super Pets as I possibly could.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. I actually saw it twice and did take notes.
Oh.
I usually like to see a film that I'm reviewing, at least twice, so I can have the full experience. Because the first time around you're like watching to see what happens, and then the second time around you can kind of go through and sort of pick it apart and look at things that you didn't look at before. So I did go see it Monday night as well. And I did have a couple of kids in that showing with me, but they were also pretty well behaved and laughed at Krypto sniffing things that were not smelling good. So kid appropriate joke. So yeah, my movie going experience was very similar. Not a lot of people in the theater, and I think that sort of speaks to some of the articles I've been seeing that have been coming out about how the expectation for Super Pets in terms of the box office has not really been met, which I think is so unfortunate because spoiler alert, I enjoyed it. So I think people should go see it. So I hope more people go check it out. Maybe word of mouth will get around to people and encourage other people to go. But I guess since Morgan, we've talked a lot about Krypto, the super dog, here lately on Supergirl Radio. So I was curious, what were your thoughts on Dwayne the Rock Johnson as Krypto the super dog?
I thought he was great. I thought Krypto had a real gravitas in this movie. Amazing voice acting, really. I liked Krypto in this movie. I thought that Krypto's hero's journey in this movie to socialize and have more than one friend. I think, listen, as somebody who's like, I can't meet new people. I get it. All right. But
I've already met the most people I want to meet. That's
exactly.
it.
I was like, I'm tapped out. I'm done. And so was Krypto at the beginning of this movie. But then he opened his heart to the Super Pets and he made a whole bunch of friends. And I think he also learned to let go a little bit. He was very jealous of Clark's relationship with Lois. He's like, I just want to be doing Superman stuff. I want to be watching Bake Off. It was Bake Off night and he was going out with Lois. I get that. Like, what's he supposed to do? Just wait to watch Bake Off? What if it has a soggy bottom, Clark? You monster. But I think it's definitely like, it felt like a very understandable storyline for him. And also, I feel like all pets really want 100% of your attention. And so I feel like I could understand it. Like, yeah, he wanted to be Superman's number one. And now Superman had a girlfriend and was going out and doing things and not just sitting around watching Bake Off with Krypto. But I do feel like Krypto and Superman had like a pretty sweet routine going on there. So
yeah, when they talked about Bake Off, I thought about you because I was like, I wonder what Morgan thinks.
I was dying. I was like, this is amazing. And he's listening to like the Taylor Swift and like crying and watching Bake Off. And I was like, has somebody been watching me during dark times? This is exactly what I do too. Krypto, ice cream, Taylor Swift, Bake Off.
And his ice cream was called Cryers instead of Fryers.
I thought that was really good.
Which I think that for me, there's 2 layers of that. One is crying. Krypto was crying while he was eating ice cream, but also like John Cryer. I mean, that's a stretch to say that was an Easter egg to John Cryer, who played Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor was a big part of this movie. But that's just where my mind went, is that I saw Cryers and I thought about John Cryer. But yeah, so Krypto does go through his own little hero's journey and tries to figure out how best he can love and take care of and watch after Superman, but also let him go a little bit when he needs to. So I thought that was good. And Superman, I think, also learned to appreciate Krypto in a new light, because Krypto came through for both Superman and Lois Lane, which I thought was really sweet. So I was really surprised by Dwayne Johnson's voice performance here, because I was a little concerned, because I really there's a animated TV show about Krypto the Superdog, and I really like the Krypto on that show. And so I was worried that Dwayne would not have the same kind of, I don't know, I don't know what the word is to describe it, but I was worried that he would be too serious, I guess. Like, he wouldn't have enough of the silliness that Krypto sometimes needs. But I thought he did a really good job. He was heroic when he needed to be, but he also could play the jokes and the silly humor when that also was called for. So I thought he did a really good job of being able to pull both sides of that off.
Yeah, I thought he was a great Krypto. I don't think I've ever heard him do voice acting before, unless I'm forgetting it. No, never mind.
Oh,
I watched Moana.
Yes.
What am I talking about? He was great in Moana.
He was great.
Yeah, and he was great in this too. Yeah, I didn't have that thing sometimes where you're watching something and you're like, I can just hear the actor. Like, that's all I hear. But I lost myself and I was like, it's Krypto. That's what Krypto sounds like.
Yeah. So I thought he did a surprisingly good job. I was pretty impressed with him.
I actually thought all the voice actors in the movie were really good. I thought they all did a great job. Kate McKinnon as the evil, was it
Lulu?
Was she a hamster or a gerbil?
Oh, she was a guinea pig.
Guinea pig. Oh, she would be so mad about that.
She was so mad. You've got to call her a guinea pig.
The evil guinea pig. She was amazing. And I also would like that where she would be doing like her big villain speech, and then it would like zoom out and you would just be hearing her squeak, because that's like what everybody else hears. That was really funny.
I have to say, of all the super pets, Lulu was my favorite.
Lulu was amazing.
She was so good. She's adorable. First of all, just the way she's drawn is adorable, and I like her story. And her story actually parallels to Krypto's in that they are both trying to regain a relationship with either their owner or someone they would consider to be their best friend. For Krypto, it's Superman. For Lulu, it's Lex Luthor. And I really enjoyed her like fangirling over Lex Luthor. It made me laugh so much, because there's one point where she goes in to get Lex and break him out of a prison, and she talks about, he's my best friend, and then like she has on her phone, she has like photoshopped images of her with Lex,
and she's like showing him what she did, and she's like, oh, this is so embarrassing.
Her love for Lex Luthor was just very endearing to me. I enjoyed it so much. But she has that parallel with Krypto over the dynamic between their best friends. And Krypto learns the lesson that he has to, if he wants to love Superman, sometimes he's got to let him go a little bit. But Lulu, she she has issues with letting Lex Luthor go. And she also has a parallel to Lex Luthor, which I thought was also a nice writing touch. She has the purple eyes. Lex Luthor typically is associated with the color purple. Most Luthorian characters are, but she loses her hair like Lex Luthor, which I thought was a nice choice. And due to kryptonite, typically Lex Luthor will lose his hair due to some kryptonite exposure. And so she loses her hair, according to the film, from red kryptonite. So I enjoyed that she also was a hairless being. But I just enjoyed her because she did not see herself as a pet. She saw herself as a scientist.
She was a colleague.
She was a colleague of Lex Luthor's, and she was going to prove to Lex that she could do all of the villainous things that he always wanted to do. And she did. She did. She was out there doing the villain work. So
she was doing an amazing job. So good. I also love that she looks up the other guinea pigs that were like released, and they're all like in a classroom, and they're all just kind of like living their best lives. They're learning Spanish. And then she recruits them to be like her evil henchmen and gives them all powers. But I thought they were so funny when they were like, we're learning Spanish.
And they all had different powers. One of them had the power to like create rainbows for some reason.
That was so funny. Like you see like the whole thing is like starting, and you're like, oh my God, it's going to be this whole big powerful thing. And then it's just like a little rainbow that goes like,
yeah. So not all of them got villainous powers like Lulu, but she did give them some super abilities. But I thought Guinea Pig was such a good choice for a villain. I saw Kate McKinnon talk about how Lulu is a tiny little creature who wants to be big and powerful, and that's why she does what she does. But I loved her look. She steals Superman's cape and then sort of tears it for herself to wear as a cape, and like every good villain, she makes a high collar out of it.
Of course, you got to pop that collar. She knows that. She knows that.
So I just really liked the entire design and characterization of Lulu. Even at the very beginning, when we're introduced to her, she has this whole like villainous monologue, and then she says, recede into shadows, and
yes!
she plays the villain part right there at the beginning, and she even introduces herself to Clark Kent as Lulu, daughter of Cinnamon. And I just
yes,
I mean, all of these choices for her were just A+ for me, because I just enjoyed Lulu so much. She might have been my favorite character.
Lulu
I love Krypto,
incredible.
but Lulu was so good.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by like like how funny I thought the movie was. Like I know it's a kids movie really, but I just like a lot of the jokes were really funny. And some of the jokes I was like, I can't believe they had that in this kids movie, especially Merton the turtle.
Merton cussed a couple of times.
Merton got beeped out like a few times. Merton, I think, might have been one of my favorite characters. Merton like never knew what was going on. I think the voice actress was like Natasha Lyonne, and she was incredible. Like Merton was like constantly talking up what turned out to be like helmets, and
Merton could not see well.
Merton was did not have great vision. And Merton just loved lettuce. Like Merton's whole thing was like, I love when Merton gets the speed powers, and instead of saving them, like Merton goes over, like eats a flower, then goes like, oh, I gotta get back up there, and then Merton goes and then saves them after like taking a snack first.
Yeah, I did like Merton as well. Two Merton moments stand out for me. One in which they're all in this car trying to evade a cat that looks exactly like Streaky the Super Cat. That's a whole another thing we need to talk about. But a cat named Whiskers. They're trying to evade Whiskers, and they're all in this car. And Krypto has to give this inspirational speech to PB the pig, the Wonder Pig, I guess. She's still working on her name, but PB the pig. And so after that's over, everybody's gone back into their origin and tried to explain kind of what's going on with them. And Merton tries to be like, well, let's dig into Merton now. And Krypto's like, we don't have time.
We don't have time for that.
And there's also a moment where Krypto gives Merton some eyeglasses so Merton can see. And she's like, oh, you're not all turtles. And that explains so much. Like, that was a good joke. That was a good joke that Merton thought they were all turtles. So Merton was a good comic relief character for sure.
Merton had some of the best lines for sure in the movie, where I was like, oh my, what is Merton doing?
Merton was excellent. So I guess since we've been talking about the individual characters, what did you think about Ace?
I liked Ace. I thought Ace was interesting. And Ace had like a tragic backstory too.
So tragic.
I wasn't expecting. Yeah, the backstory was really sad actually. Like it made me emotional.
I'm glad you said that because I was sitting there in the theater going, Rebecca, you need to pull it together. Don't cry, Rebecca. This is not that serious. But I was tearing up a little bit about Ace too.
Yeah. Like Ace was given away by his owners, but it was a misunderstanding, and I just thought that Ace, like the walls around Ace made sense once you find out about his backstory. But I also like that he had told them all that they were going up to a farm upstate. And then they all believed it, and then he was like, what do I do now? Like I just figured we were never going to get adopted, so the farm was like something to give them hope. And then I like that Krypto is like, well, I grew up on a farm and I can take you to Smallville. And I was like, Smallville?
I thought they were going to end up at the farm.
I thought so too.
But that's not how it ended, which I don't know if I like or not.
Yeah, I figured we'd at least get them at the farm. Like I don't mind where the movie ended with all of them kind of being super pets, but it would have been nice to have like a shot of them all at the farm, like they had finally gotten there and like just hanging out, and then we could see them as like the super pets. But yeah, I did like the reference to Smallville. I was like, are we gonna get to see Ma Kent? Is Lana hanging out in there somewhere?
I wonder what kind of pet Lana Lang has.
Oh my god, it would be amazing, I'm sure. What if she came in with like a giant like leopard print coat, and then her pet comes in like a giant leopard print coat. And she's trying to sell you into an MLM. I feel like that's like big Lana energy to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think at some point they should have shown them, because they talked about the farm
They talk about it so much.
again. So I thought they should have at least tied a little ribbon on that bow. Is that the phrase?
Tie a bow on it, I think.
Tie a bow. Yeah, okay. So tie a bow on that thread in the I think I'm mixing metaphors. I think they should have paid that part of the story off, but I can understand why they didn't, because they ended up at the end. Spoiler alert, this is very much a spoiler filled review of the movie. That at the end of the big action sequences at the end, everybody gets adopted by a superhero of the Justice League. So I can understand why they did what they did. But I don't know. I kind of feel like they should have shown them at the farm.
I will say the whoever was playing Batman, I want to say it was Keanu Reeves, but I'm not sure.
It was, in fact.
It was? Okay. Was so funny. And when they go through the whole thing where like they parallel like Batman storyline and Ace's storyline, where they're like, I build up a wall. He's like, I don't trust, I work alone. Or
yeah, it was something like, my family was taken away from me, and Ace says, and I was taken away from my family, something like that.
Yeah, it's like this, like, and then suddenly it's like this, like, kind of like bam pow kind of like graphics and like a comic look to it, and it's really funny. I feel like everything that they did with Batman in this movie, I feel like when you put Batman into like a lighthearted animated film, he is really funny. And so because I remember I thought that the Lego Batman movie was also hilarious, like with how they played with the Batman tropes, and they did a great job in this one, where he goes like, I work alone except for Robin and Alfred, and then they cut back like a minute later, and he's like, all of my servants. and he's still listing things, and
whoever Morgan Freeman played, stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves's Batman was quite good, and they did play up the idea that even Batman might, a dog might be good for him.
They were like, maybe you need a pet. He goes off on like a long tangent about like all the bats he saw.
Yeah, I thought Ace's story was very compelling and very moving, and I thought he was a good balance to Krypto, where Krypto sometimes wanted to give up, and Ace, he could give an inspirational speech just as much as Krypto could, and I thought he did a good job of being the character who sort of held everyone together because he had been with the rescue pets and held them together, and so I think he was a good character to do that with because he had that sad story. So the story for Ace is that he when he was a little puppy, he was good friends with this little girl, and this little girl is about to fall down the stairs, and he bites her arm to pull her back to save her from falling down the stairs, and she's hurt a little bit because of his little puppy bites, and they sent him back to the rescue place. And so it's very sad because he did it because he loved that little girl and he tried to save her life, and he did save her life.
He did.
Yeah, so that was really sad because he did the right thing. So that I thought that actually a lot of these scenes in the movie, I mean, it's a funny movie. Lulu, a delight. I don't think I can talk. Enough about Lulu. But a lot of the scenes in DC League of Super Pets are very serious and very heartfelt and very moving in a lot of ways. And I think there was one scene where Krypto and Ace are talking, and it's just the two of them in front of this sunset, and it's a lot of talking. Like it's these two dogs talking together, and it's actually a very very good dramatic sequence. They put a couple of invisible jet jokes in there to sort of break it up. But I thought those scenes were really quite good.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that the way that Ace and Krypto, their relationship was really well developed, in the way that they played off of each other and the friendship that developed between the two of them, from them having like the beginning of the movie, like I hate you kind of relationship, to at the end of the movie where they're like really good friends.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that they would be friends because Ace really teaches Krypto, I think, how to be a dog. Because Krypto really did not have that kind of experience.
Yeah, Krypto didn't know about smelling things.
Yeah, being a normal dog was very difficult for Krypto. He was not good at that.
I will say one of my favorite jokes was that they got the kryptonite into Krypto and he lost his powers, but they got it into him because they put it in like a chunk of cheese.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That's how you feed a dog anything. The amount of times I've put pills in chunks of cheese. Like, here you go.
I had to do that for my brother's dog. So that's how you get him to eat it. Is you gotta put it in that cheese. That's how they'll take that pill.
Like, they get me every time. So funny.
Yeah, so that was very accurate. I like it when they get to show them as pets. Like they're not just these superhero characters. It's a good reminder that they're still animals. They're still doing pet animal things, which I think is good. Did you have any other thoughts about PB or Chip? Did you have any?
Yeah, I feel like we need to get into PB and Chip. Chip felt like the thinnest of the characters, unfortunately, in the whole movie. Chip's main thing was like electricity and being really scared all the time, being like really kind of freaked out. That was sort of Chip's whole deal. And then PB, I thought got a lot more character development. She loved Wonder Woman. She could grow big or small, and she really came in clutch in a bunch of times during the battles, when she got to be super giant or she got to be like small and could do stuff. I think that the growing shrinking power was pretty effective for PB.
Yeah, and she was a very positive character. I liked
She
that
was
about
very positive. Yeah.
about PB. Chip, I would agree, he didn't have as much characterization to him, but I think at one point Ace says about Chip that he needs to feel safe. And what I liked at the end was when Green Lantern comes around to help him out. Green Lantern puts Chip like in her hands and like sort of cradles him, and I was like, oh, I bet he feels safe. I bet he feels safe right there. So at least I think they paid that part of his character off, is that his big thing was that he he needed to feel safe, and being with Green Lantern made him feel safe. And so I thought that was a nice touch, but I would agree that he did not have much outside of that. I think that was all really for Chip there.
Yeah, PB had like a whole kind of a whole story about being really positive, and then also like having to believe in herself that she could, be big or small, when like that she could like get control over her powers. And then obviously she like really looked up to Wonder Woman. She spent the whole movie workshopping what her like superhero name was going to be.
Well, what do you think would be a good hero name for PB?
I don't know. She had a lot of good ones at the end that I was trying to read all of them on the screen that she had been workshopping still. It was like Super Pig and
I think Wonder Pig is probably.
I think Wonder Pig, yeah.
I think you don't need to really overthink it, I think.
Yeah. I think that she was I think that PB was amazing. I loved her energy. And then I loved all of the honestly all the guinea pigs were great, but there was a fire and ice guinea pig.
Keith and Mark, I think, were their names.
Yes, Keith and Mark.
They had the most normal names.
They were also amazing. I loved them. I did have a question. So I'm not familiar with the Green Lantern that was in this movie. Is she in the comics, or is she just kind of like a random Green Lantern?
So I believe this was the Jessica Cruz Green Lantern. She
Ah.
is a Green Lantern in the comics. Green Lantern is just a protector of whatever sector that particular Green Lantern is a Green Lantern of. So I think is she Sector 2814, like Hal and let's see, Jessica Cruz.
I'm now on the DC database to find out more about Jessica Cruz.
I'm not as familiar with Jessica Cruz, but I think she's Sector.
I have
2814.
gone on record with my controversial opinions about Green Lantern.
Green Lanterns are awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, Jessica Cruz is a protector of Sector 2814, which is this sector of Hal Jordan and I believe also John Stewart. So that's typically the Earth sector is 2814. So she's just another one of the Green Lanterns.
Interesting. So I see in the DC.fandom.com wiki, it says that she suffered from crippling anxiety and agoraphobia after nearly being murdered. And then she overcame those fears, and that led to her recruitment in the Green Lantern Corps. But I think that's kind of interesting to know, because I think that does kind of tie to Chip's story.
Yeah, I think that very much parallels with Chip's story.
He has a lot of anxiety. So did she.
That should maybe have been a thread that was pulled a little harder.
Yeah.
I think that was not there. But I think that would have, if they had connected those two things, I think that might have been a little nicer.
Speaking of Green Lantern, Brian says Chip was part of the Green Lantern Corps in the 80s, but wasn't a Green Lantern in this movie.
So that's that's definitely the thing, is that there is a Green Lantern named Chip, spelled CH''P. As far as I know, the Chip in the Super Pets movie, let's see, does it have it? It doesn't have it on his poster, but I think his name, as we see it in the movie, is CHIP. So it could be possibly that these are two different characters. Maybe the CH''P is a different character from CHIP. I don't know. But that comment is correct, that Chip CH''P is a Green Lantern on his own in the comics.
To be fair, I think in the end of the movie, spoiler alert, he does have a ring.
He does become a Green Lantern. Yes.
I remember thinking, oh, really? Like a full-fledged member of the Lantern Corps? We're going to go that far with it?
I mean, well, and actually it's interesting with Green Lanterns, because Green Lanterns are supposed to become Green Lanterns because they have no fear.
Oh,
that's their whole thing, is that they're not supposed to have any fear.
Fascinating.
They're supposed to be able to use their will to create the constructs.
Maybe because Chip had overcome his fears.
he felt safe.
He felt
and
safe.
He felt safe in Green Lantern's hands, and then he didn't feel fear anymore.
I like it. I like it.
I think talking through this has made me appreciate Chip's little story arc, little character arc.
Yeah,
a
me
little more.
too. Me too. I feel like it should have been highlighted a little bit more because just
a
kind
little
of
clear.
yeah, just Googling Jessica Cruz made me go like, oh, I connect those two stories together. But the movie didn't really give me that.
No, the movie did not connect that dot for us. But I think it does make sense as to why they are paired up. So yeah, that is what happened with Green Lantern. Of course, Merton is associated with the Flash. So both of the speedsters are together. And I did like the moment when Merton and the Flash kind of do both I don't know if that's some sort of, what is it called when the Flash enters the speed
force?
Well, it's not like the Speed Force, but it's like Flash time or something is what they call it.
Yeah.
But they were
everything's super slow.
They were like slowing down together to high five each other. I thought that was a great moment. And PB and Wonder Woman end up being pals. So I thought a lot of that was really nice. Even Aquaman took I forget which one was Keith and which one was Mark. But Cyborg took the the fiery guinea pig, and Aquaman ended up with the watery guinea pig. So they ended up with some super pets as well.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So so those I think were entirely new super pets in terms of the guinea pigs. But Merton is in the comics. PB I think is kind of loosely associated to that Justice League Unlimited episode about Wonder Woman turning into a pig. And Lulu I think is a completely new character, but Ace and Krypto and Merton and Chip, I think, are all based on DC Comics characters. And one of the things that I was struggling to understand about this movie is because in the comics, this group of super pets are called the Legion of Super Pets, not the League of Super Pets. And I was like, why would they change the name like that? But after seeing the movie, it made more sense to me because Krypto actually creates his own Justice League.
Yeah.
Because you have of the super pets, you have a Superman, which is Krypto. You have a Batman, which is Ace. You have a Wonder Woman, which is PB. You have a Green Lantern, which is Chip. You have a Flash, which is Merton. Am I leaving anybody out? I think that's all of them. But and then Cyborg and Aquaman have their little guinea pig pets.
Yes.
So they all create. So you have the Justice League of the humankind, and then you have the Justice League of the pets. So it makes sense after that to call it the DC League of Super Pets, I guess, because they are a Justice League. And that brings me to a question that I had for you, Morgan, because there are some super pets from the comics that did not make this movie.
There were.
Did not appear. As previously mentioned, there was a Whiskers cat, a cat named Whiskers who could turn anything into a weapon, looking a lot like Streaky the Super Cat. So if they ever make a sequel, I don't know that Streaky's going to be in it because they've already wasted a cat that looks just like Streaky.
Well, I feel like I might have a pitch for them. So hold that thought. I will be right back.
Okay, I will hold that thought. So there are not some super pets that maybe should have been included, but there was a reason for that, I think, because they wanted to create a Justice League, so that only makes sense. Oh, looks like we have a super pet, super cat, joining us for the live stream.
I just wanted to he's sleepy. He doesn't want this, but I thought, like, what if Streaky looked like this little guy, huh? Maybe Bunsen could be like a muse, right, bud? What do you think about that?
True. They can't have like an orange tabby cat, but maybe they could have a black and
I was surprised when I saw the orange tabby in the background of like the first shot, and I was like, oh, Streaky is in this. Nope.
So I think the reason that they made the main characters who they made as main characters was because they wanted to create a Justice League of Super Pets. So Streaky you really couldn't do because Streaky is basically cat version of Supergirl, essentially. So I can see why they did not include Streaky. Comet on the other, well, Comet's also part of the Superman family, so I guess they couldn't have any other super pets like that in there. But I thought it was very unfortunate. But
justice for Streaky.
Justice for Streaky. I was kind of hoping, because that orange cat was on the poster, one of the posters.
Oh, really?
And in the trailers.
Yeah, I thought I saw the orange cat, and I was like, oh, Streaky is in this.
So I was going into it. Let's see. I don't know if it's this poster. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
There is a little orange cat on there. And so I was like, well, maybe there is a Streaky. So I set myself up for disappointment, because I thought maybe Streaky might appear in the movie, but there is no Streaky, and there is no Comet. So I guess, Morgan, if you had to include another super pet, we talked a lot about a lot of different other super pets in our character encyclopedia episode. So if you could, like, say they make a sequel to DC League of Super Pets, what super pet maybe would you want to see in the sequel?
I think definitely Streaky or Comet. Like, I think we got to get some Supergirl love in the sequel. Also, I mean, it's a super pets movie, and you don't have a cat. There's not a super cat. Excuse me. Excuse me.
They had little whiskers, and whiskers could create like bombs out of hairballs.
Yes, which was very disturbing and hilarious.
Very disgusting. But there was a cat there, and there was also a cat inside the it was a different cat inside the rescue place, where where everybody was like, I wonder if we're gonna get adopted today. And they were like, they always go for the cats first. And the cat was like, first day, it's so easy to be adopted.
That made me laugh so hard that it's like the kittens always get really adopted really fast, and the little cat's like, oh, it's so easy being a shelter pet, as it goes by the ones that have been there forever.
So they did have cats in the movie, but they were not of the super variety, the hero of the characters. So that was disappointing. I would probably also include Streaky as well. So I if you wanted to mix it up and you didn't want to have I mean, Comet is also a wacky character. So I think those characters, and those also have been Comet, Streaky, Beppo. Beppo the Super Monkey, those characters have been around, and we'll talk about those in our Legion of Super Pets character spotlight. But those characters have been around a long time, and even though I liked the Justice League, the Super Pet Justice League, I would have liked to have seen some of those like OG Super Pets make it into the movie. So that was a little disappointing for me personally, but I can understand why they did what they did.
Yeah, me too. I was really disappointed that there was no Streaky. I was like, the cat representation in this film. But hopefully if they ever do a sequel, we could get some more super pets, because as we found out last week when we were going through the encyclopedia, there are certainly enough pets.
Lots of pets. And lots of cats too.
So many cats. They have a whole league of cats.
You could do Brainy Cat. You could do Crab Tabby.
Crab Tabby. Yes, that's the one I want to see on film. It is time, finally, for Crab Tabby.
That whole gang, Powerpuss, Crab Tabby, and Atomic Tom, all actual DC Comics characters.
There you go.
They are in the comic book source material. So not made up just for that encyclopedia, but real DC Comics characters. So I would like to see maybe some more cats in the future if we got to see another movie. But I guess that opens up. Morgan, is there anything else about the movie that you wanted to talk about that we didn't before we share our final thoughts?
I feel like we covered it pretty well. Yeah, I think we went into all the characters and their like motivations. I like the movie a lot.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was written really well in terms of the characters and their dynamics with each other. I thought the visuals were particularly good. There's a sequence where Krypto is jealous of Lois, and it sort of goes into a nightmare sequence where the animation gets sort of scary, like he's in a haunted house. And I thought that was a really neat animation choice for those visuals, because it made you kind of get in, or it made me, at least anyway, get into what Krypto was feeling, and sort of understanding his thoughts about that. So I like that there were some chances taking in the animation to try to give it more of an artistic look to it. And I also thought, even just down to some of the Easter eggs and some of the recurring gags that happen throughout the movie to make it more comedic and enjoyable to watch. I thought there was a recurring element of smooth jazz in the movie.
The smooth jazz was so good. And I love that she used the smooth jazz CD to like make her like special ray that got the orange kryptonite. So good.
Yeah, so they talk about how smooth jazz is played in the rescue, the pet shelter, and she does. Lulu makes the device using the smooth jazz CD. Smooth jazz is also mentioned by Chip at one point. Let's see. There's also a smooth jazz radio station during the Daily Planet fight, and there's also a mention of smooth jazz in the closing credits. So I enjoyed that. I think there maybe should have been more smooth jazz in the music to really emphasize that point. But I thought that was a funny recurring joke. I was interested in watching so when Lois Lane is on the news talking about the big fights that are happening within the city, I kept enjoying looking at the lower thirds on the news broadcasts. One of them during the big initial fight with Lulu and her guinea pig army, the lower third said, "Animal rights activists honestly confused."
That's so good.
So those kinds of jokes, and there were a couple of them like that, but that was the one I remembered, because I remember thinking, yeah, I guess if you're an animal rights activist, do you want to save these pets or do you want to defeat them?
I know. I also love it wasn't like a hidden joke, but when they have all the Justice League and Lex Luthor's like, "Look at everything I did," and Mercy's kind of is like, "Honestly, the guinea pig did all of it." He's like, "Well, we're not going to tell anyone that."
Yeah, there were a lot of really good Easter eggs that were going on. There was a big belly burger that was pretty obvious in there, but they had a lot of allusions to different characters within the DC universe that were in there. So I appreciated that they mentioned Lois's middle name, Joanne, which I was like, oh, good for them. Because if you don't know, Lois Lane's middle name is Joanne, and that's from the comics. So that I thought was a nice touch. I appreciate those little details to show that maybe you've done your homework and you know what you're talking about. So I liked all of that, even though there were some new characters added to the DC mythology with this. They did stay true to a lot of the comic book stuff in there.
Yeah, there were a lot of like comic in jokes that you would only get if you were, aware of the comics or, in other medium. I like when they're trying to call like the emergency, and they're like, "For Earth 1, press
press 1.
For Earth 2," and she's like, "Oh my God, never mind."
Yeah, there was a lot like that, including the flashback. Oh, the adorable flashback, the opening sequence with little Krypto and little Kal-El. And they have that sequence, in my opinion, was a mixture of a bunch of different things. You had the Donnerverse white reflective suits, and then Krypton sort of looked like Man of Steel meets the Supergirl TV series. And so there was, I think, little baby Kal-El's ship looked like the Donnerverse. So there were a lot of mixtures in terms of interpretations, but that sequence was really cute. Oh my gosh, when little Krypto like wiped little Kal-El's tear.
Oh, so cute.
Oh, so good. So good. So I thought all of those sequences were good. They had the Easter eggs, but they also did it with a sense of emotion and telling character stories. There's something about, we've seen baby Kal-El go to Earth so many times, but to see his pet puppy jump into the ship with him and comfort him as he realizes that his parents are gone and he's by himself. That was a really cute moment that was played in the context of story and character. So I appreciated that it wasn't just, oh, look at these DC Easter eggs and these homages to these other former DC interpretations. It was like, no, we're telling a story about these characters and playing on the emotional journeys that they're about to go on. So I thought it was a good balance. I really did enjoy the movie. I would probably see it many, many more times. Lulu is now my favorite DC Comics character. So Lulu is she's just the best.
Lulu is just a star, is what Lulu is.
I am Lulu's number one fan now. So I'm very excited about Lulu.
Kate McKinnon did such an amazing job with the voice of Lulu.
So
funny.
She really played it up. She was able to do, and a lot of these voice actors were able to do it. She could play the villainous aspect and make you really, or make me. I keep saying that. Make me somewhat scared of Lulu at times. Lulu was very villainous and was willing to throw kryptonite at Superman. Was willing to really. I mean, she would kill somebody if she really wanted to. But she also, Kate did a really good job of playing the comedy of it. The over obsession with Lex Luthor was just, top notch. So, so there was a lot that I thought was good about that performance, particularly. But I think all the voice actors did a really good job of, making these characters come to life. It's hard with him. Morgan and I know it's hard to do voice acting. It is really difficult.
It's a challenge, yeah, for sure. I give them props for that. They did it a great job. I think that the voice cast in this was like really top notch. I didn't have no notes for anybody.
I don't want to like brag about our vocal performances, but if you want to hear us do voice acting, you check out The Fakest at thefakest.com and listen to that. But it is difficult because you have to. You're sort of playing it all in your head. You're not able to physically interact with anything. You have to do it all with your voice and how you communicate that. So voice acting is always something that I really admire. And I think the entire cast of the DC League of Super Pets did a really great job. All right. Well, Morgan, would you like to do some snap judgments? We have a few DC League of Super Pet snap judgments. In the game of Snap Judgments, each person is presented with 2 options, but must only choose one. First instincts are recommended and explanations are unnecessary.
Okay, so better secret identity for Krypto. Bark Bent, which was in the Adventures of Super Pup, or Bark Kent, which was in the DC League of Super Pets.
I'm a little disappointed that he's not Bark Bent because the Adventures of Super Pup is such a weird thing that happened. If people are not familiar,
it's so weird.
After the Adventures of Superman with George Reeves. Yeah. After the Adventures of Superman with George Reeves had to end because of his untimely death and his unexpected death, they tried to keep the show going because it was so popular. So then they put some people in these dog costumes and called it The Adventures of Super Pup. And it's a very strange concept.
It's weird.
It's really weird.
If you've ever seen pictures from it, it's like nightmare fuel for sure.
I totally would have watched it, but that's just me.
I would have watched it. Don't get me wrong. But like you look at the pictures and you're like, why and how and who thought this was a good idea?
But the secret identity for Clark Kent in Adventures of Super Pup is a Bark Bent. So when he said Bark Kent makes more sense. But I just wanted that Adventures of Super Pup recognition. So I guess if I'm saying better, which one is better? Bark Kent is better, but it's not my preferred one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bark Bent on that too. It's just off enough that it's like kind of weird. It's like he's really trying to have like a secret identity. It's not Kent, it's Bent, so it's different. And I just respect that. I respect that hustle.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather have electrical powers like Chip or be able to grow bigger and smaller in size like PB?
I think I would like to have electrical powers because I maybe I wouldn't have to charge batteries for things. Maybe I
Ooh.
could just do them because sometimes for me, when I'm having to charge cameras or my phone, sometimes that takes a long time, and I would rather just zap it and be able to do it that way. So maybe, and maybe you could revive old laptops or computers that maybe
Whoa.
died.
Yeah.
You know, I've had hard drives that died on me, and it was devastating because it was like, all my work, I can't retrieve
no.
it. So maybe I would like electrical powers, maybe.
Yeah, I think I'd go with the electrical powers too, just because they seem more useful. Like, what am I gonna do getting really big and really small? Like, I guess I could like eavesdrop on people. I don't really care what people say that much. Or I could get like really big and like crush a town. But like, do I want to do that? Well, probably not.
You could stop a rocket.
I could stop a
flying
rocket
to the sun.
I could do that. But I feel like that's not going to be like a day-to-day life kind of situation. Whereas like being able to charge my phone without a charger, that's going to make a huge difference.
Yes.
If you have a power outage, you can just fix that right up.
Right. I think it's very handy
practical
for your
power.
everyday. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who would you want for a super pet?
This is a very, very important snap. The most
this
important
is-
snap judgment.
This is a big one. Okay. Would you want Mark the fire guinea pig or Keith the ice guinea pig? I mean, both good powers, so.
Well, see, this is tough because I get cold very easily.
Yeah.
I'm all the time. I need a jacket everywhere I go because I get cold. It could be 90 degrees somewhere, and I'm probably gonna be cold. So I probably would need Mark the fire guinea pig. Well, what if he like burns my house down or something? I don't,
Mark seems dangerous.
But then also Keith is gonna like, I don't know, flood your house. Like they're both very dangerous. But I guess because I get cold a lot, I guess I would say Mark the fire guinea pig.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Keith the water ice guinea pig. For no specific reason. I just like that I think he could like help me put ice in my drinks. But then in the summertime, I feel like he'd be a chill hang, right? Like he'd want to go to the pool with me. Like for sure. 'Cause he apparently can go into like more of a liquid form.
Yeah.
So like we could hang out at the pool in the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fun. I feel like he's like more of like a vacation pet. Like we're gonna go and have an amazing time places. I do feel like is it Mark? Mark, I feel like is a more utilitarian pet. Like he's gonna help you stay warm and he's gonna be great during the winter.
Yes.
Keith is gonna be garbage in the winter. I'm gonna be honest. Keith is not going to be useful in the winter. I'm not going to want him around then. But in the summer is Keith's time to shine.
Well, hopefully at some point we'll be able to get our guinea pigs of choice. But until then, we need to get out of snap judgments. No judgments on your snap judgments. All right, well, that is going to do it for our discussion and review of DC League of Super Pets, the movie. So we need to get to some Supergirl Radio and some DC TV podcast plugs. If you would like to contact Supergirl Radio, you can post a comment on our website at supergirlradio.com. You can email us at supergirlradio@gmail.com. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, you can call us at 678-718-7252. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram, all at Supergirl Radio. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Podchaser, and Spotify, where we also have a Spotify playlist that includes music featured on and inspired by the CW's Supergirl TV series. We are listed on DC's fan page, which you can find at dccomics.com/DC-fans. If you like what we do, we encourage you to give us a rating and write us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you enjoy our Supergirl Radio live streams, make sure to subscribe to the DC TV Podcast YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to get notified when we go live and wired. DC TV Podcast also has a TeePublic store, so if you're in need of new DC TV related t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, onesies, mugs, notebooks, pillows, or stickers, go to supergirlradio.com and click on the TeePublic store link at the top of the page.
Supergirl Radio, Superman and Lois Radio, The Flash Podcast, and Legends of Tomorrow Podcast, Black Lightning Podcast, Batwoman Podcast 2, and Titans and Doom Patrol Podcast just for you, Justice League Dark Podcast, Green Lantern Podcast, Stargirl Podcast, Strange Adventures Podcast, and finally my favorite of the bunch, DC TV After Dark, where you're allowed to say fuck.
Cussing like Merton.
Yes. Beep. And since we talked about super pets, we have super dog designs in the DC TV Podcast TeePublic store that we'd like to suggest.
Yeah, we have a dog who looks like Krypto with a Superman looking cape, but we also have just a regular old dog thinking about bones, wearing a Superman suit
Just
with a
being
cape.
great.
Just being a dog. So if you are into super dogs, we've got some designs, t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers, all kinds of fun things. So definitely check those out in the DC TV Podcast TeePublic store. And also, we would like to remind everyone that we are currently running a new DC TV Podcast Plugs contest. So if you would like to participate, and we encourage you to do so, here are some details on how you can do that.
Supergirl Radio needs new DC TV podcast plugs, which means that we are holding another plugs contest. And we invite you to submit your recordings of how you would promote the DC TV podcast on Supergirl Radio. We want you to do that so that I do not have to do that. It's very important that you do it so I don't have to. You can be as creative as you want to be, but we do have one requirement, and that's that you need to make sure you mention all of our podcasts in the DC TV Podcast Network. And in case maybe you have forgotten what those are, I will list them like so. That's Supergirl Radio. That's the one that you're listening to right now. The Flash Podcast, Legends of Tomorrow Podcast. I hear that one's really great.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. The Lituation Room, DC on HBO Max Podcast, which maybe one day will be sponsored by HBO Max. HBO Max, where I like to watch stuff. The Stargirl Podcast, Superman and Lois Radio. They're not in the Arrowverse, but we're still allowing them to be on the network. What a ring that probably threw them for, where they're like, excuse me, we're not in the Arrowverse. Green Lantern Podcast, the Sandman Podcast, Justice League Dark Podcast, and DC TV After Dark.
I hear that one's pretty good too.
That one's fine. That one's fine. That one I think is still being workshopped. So how do you get on Supergirl Radio? What you do is you email an MP3, a WAV, or an M4A to supergirlradio@gmail.com by our contest deadline, which is September 30th. We will choose the winner, and the winner will receive a prize in the mail, which will consist of Superman Family Adventures, Volume 1, DC Super Pets, Super Powered Pony, which is a story about Comet the Super Horse, and maybe also an additional surprise.
We might sneak something that you didn't expect in there.
Just might.
All right. And we would also like to thank our legion of super sponsors for supporting the Supergirl Radio Patreon. These people are Michael, Sam, Anne Marie, Yvonne, Nicola, Leslie, Abby, Irmgard, Miriam, Nicole, Lizeth, Faith, Brian, Ethan, and Danny. If you would like to become a legion of super sponsor, you can go to patreon.com/Supergirl Radio and sign up for that. And I just want to tell the Patreon supporters I'm behind getting some content up. But Morgan and I've recorded some things. So those will be coming in the very near future, probably this week. I'm just doing a little editing work on them. So forgive me for the delay on that. But things are coming. So thank you for your support of the Supergirl Radio Patreon. Also, if you would like to follow me personally, you can do that on Instagram at The Derby Kid. And I have a YouTube channel that you can find at youtube.com/duckmilkprod, where I live stream on Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can usually find me then. And I am reading through Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice reviews written by the top critics of Rotten Tomatoes. If you're interested in art criticism or DC films, anything like that, or you just want to hang out and talk about movies, you can join me over there on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Nice. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Mojotastic. You can also find me as a co-host on the Legends of Tomorrow podcast, where we just talked about San Diego Comic-Con, and we have an episode upcoming where we're planning on talking about Harley Quinn, the new HBO Max show. HBO Max, why not? Throw us some money. HBO Max, you won't be showing Batgirl, but you could be showing us some. I just keep making HBO Max commercials. But we're going to be talking about the new season of Harley Quinn, the first, I think, 4 by the time we record episodes. They did like a preliminary drop of 3, and then I think now they're going week to week. So that should be a lot of fun. We're excited about talking about it. We're excited that, covering Harley Quinn for a little while will give us a little bit of buffer while we figure out who is the Legends of Tomorrow podcast now. Like, we have to do like a Eat, Pray, Love for a while. So we appreciate that there's some good DC content we can talk about in the meantime.
If I could make a suggestion,
of course,
not that you have to do anything, but if I were the Legends of Tomorrow podcast, I would think about some of the characters that were on Legends of Tomorrow and then find them in other DC media and talk about those things. For instance,
that might mean that I have to watch Constantine, though, Rebecca.
That would be great if y'all covered the Constantine TV show and actually talked about that.
Amy is the only one of us who's seen the Constantine TV show. I think Kat and I still hover around a 2% interest in it. So that would be pretty funny. I'm sure we will do it at some point, but we're always like, oh God, not Constantine.
I actually watched it I don't think I finished it, but I remember watching it at one point, and there was an episode where it took place supposedly in Birmingham, Alabama. And I was like,
oh, really?
Huh. That's random. But that was really fun for me. So they actually did some things, I think, in Atlanta and in Birmingham. So that was actually pretty fun for me. I was like, I know that place. I am well versed. Of course, it was just like aerial footage, and they didn't actually show anything. I don't know if they actually shot anything in Birmingham, but I thought that was really funny. That's the only thing I retained from the Constantine TV show on NBC. But I don't know. I think that would be really cool if the legendary ladies talked about it. So I'm just throwing that out there as a listener of the podcast. I'm putting my request in.
I like it.
You don't have to do anything about it. I'm just continuing to badger you about
it. It could happen. It could happen.
Well,
write us in and be like, we want Rebecca's suggestion.
I'm going to send you an email.
Oh my gosh.
You can disregard it if you want to.
That's too good.
All right. Well, I guess that is going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. But until next time, I'm still Rebecca Johnson.
And I'm still Morgan Glennon. And we got to get out of here because it's walk o'clock.
McGurk! I love
Not
typing.
mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira. I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom, because her outfit.
She looks like a boss in this coat.
Is Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. It's so fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Yeah!